So you have your gears in the back, and usually, right now, most bikes have, the new bikes all have 10, and it's been like that for about maybe 3-4 years. But if you have some of the older models, you're going to get the 9-speed. It doesn't, at the level that you're riding, don't let anyone tell you it'll really make a difference. It won't. So if you have a 9-speed and you're fine with it, you don't need to upgrade it. If you all of a sudden find that you're at the top of your age group, or you're second or third, and you need 30 seconds, then sure, start $1,000 per gram. It's worth it. But for that matter, if you have 9-speed or 10-speed, it doesn't really matter. Now, there are some people don't change, because you say I'm going to stay in this ring, and then you do your changes in the back. Okay. The bike doesn't like extremes. So if you're in the small one in the front and you go to the big one in the back, okay, it doesn't like it, and then it's going to be, it stretches the chain, it does things, so you really need to move to your bigger ring to ask. You need to, it's the same thing as if you're in the bigger ring and you go to either to the big one in the back, it doesn't like it. So there's combinations of gearings in the middle rings that'll cover both. Am I losing people so far? That'll cover both. So what you try to do is learn to use both. You warm up with your small ring, so that you can get your high, nice cadence. And then when you're warm up and you're ready to take off after the group, that's when you go into the big chain ring. Don't be afraid to use it after a while, because that's what you're going to need to use to get it to stay with the group. Okay? Because eventually, if you just stay on the smaller one, you're not going to catch up. So learn to go back and forth. So when you go out on the road in the next week or two, play with your gears. Play with them. Just try, try to keep your cadence. Let's say you pick a cadence of 90 RPMs. How many people have RPMs in their computers? Cadence? Okay. So if you just go by cadence, don't go by speed. Let's say if you're just by yourselves, just pick the cadence of 90. Just play with your gears and try to keep 90 at different gear combinations. Okay, so that's a good training exercise. Try to stay away from, like I said, from extremes. If you run out of gears, and if you're like in the small ring and you run out of gears and you're in the little one, that means it is time to change to the bigger gear. Okay, don't be afraid to make changes, because when you're in a group and you're riding, you have to make changes quickly sometimes. So you have to be thinking, like, when you're changing, try not to look down. How many people look down when you're changing? You don't have to. The changes will happen whether you're looking or not. So learn to keep your eyes on the road and make your changes without looking. Moving up to the seat. There's different seats. If you go into the store, if you look into the wall, there's quite a quantity of seats. The big round seats are great if you're just going to be touring and you're comfortable. I call them the seat. You sit and you're like, But they're not conducive to riding, whether in a tri-bike or in a road bike. If you're starting to ride with groups and pick up your speed, you need to have more of a profile seat. But in that sense, there's a brand called Terry that I like. Terry Bicycling is a company built up, started by a woman engineer, and she makes the bikes, and she's designed the seats, and they're awesome. They're great seats. So that may be something that you'll consider to move out of the seat. Okay, and make sure that it's comfortable. There's another brand of you'll see them in the front, that's called ISM seats, and basically the nose is cut off,